The last time they did that, it was Obamacare. That hadn't worked out real well for a lot of working people. And there's a reason that many of us were adamantly opposed to the TPP. Some people were for it and decided to be against it, but obviously for political purposes, I was against it because of the principle of having trade deals that we don't enforce equally on both sides. It's resulted in the loss of 5 million manufacturing jobs since the year 2000. Our trade deficit since 1990 is over $13 trillion. Something's not working real well. It's time to do something different.
Governor,
can you
tell me?
There's been questions coming out about some of the other Republican candidates regarding their previous support for cap and trade. Where do you stand on cap and trade?
Well, I've been accused of being for a mandatory cap and trade, which I've never been for. Back in 2007, I suggested that companies that wanted to voluntarily participate in cap and trade, that's wonderful, that's terrific. Many companies wanted to do that. It was good for their companies and their image, but I've never advocated and never would advocate a mandatory cap and trade because I think it's detrimental to business. The business climate in the world, not just America, but the world is so fragile, so delicate, that a cap and trade mandate from the government would crush a lot of jobs. I can't imagine anybody thinking that's a good idea right now.
Governor, tell me what you think about this idea.
Medical professionals have come forward and said that they've seen concerns with Hillary's health after she's given speeches. Dr. Drew has looked at her health statement and has raised concerns about the medication she's on and says it all doesn't connect. Do you think that she should release her medical records?
I'll leave that to Hillary. I'm not a practicing physician, so I'm not going to diagnose anything with her. And I'll leave that to her doctors in the Democratic Party to determine if she's ready to do it.
Follow up on that. Is that a concern for you, though? Is her health a concern?
I'm concerned for her political health. I hope that people continue to realize that she has been very dishonest about many of the things she's done as Secretary of State. I think that is a greater concern to me, that she would become a credible candidate for President of the United States and Commander-in-Chief of our military when she left people stranded in Benghazi begging for help and never sent the help. Now, why that happened, I don't know, but that is of greater concern to me than her last medical checkup.
That was a skillful dodge. Let me also ask you...
I want to dodge, it's really...
What do you think of this idea that Ted Cruz is ineligible to be president?
It was never a concern of mine until I started reading the opinions of many constitutional law scholars who gave a very, very compelling and convincing legal case that this is problematic. I'm not a lawyer, I can't tell you, but the one thing I can absolutely give you with assurance, I was born in Hope, Arkansas, and I can prove it, and I'll promise you, the country has already established that you can be president if you were born in Hope, Arkansas. I just say, let's give Hope one more chance.
Governor, what are you seeing on the campaign trail that most of us aren't seeing that propels you to continue on in this race?
Well, what compels me is the fact that there are so many people that I see every day that feel like this country has just stepped all over them. These are working people, folks that are right now working 2 jobs when they used to have 1. They used to have a pension. It's gone. They used to have health insurance. They don't have it. I talked to a guy just yesterday. He told me that his health insurance, this was Davenport, Iowa, yesterday morning. He said his health insurance is $28,000 a year after Obamacare kicked in. He makes $59,000 a year. He's paying $28,000 out of $59,000 that he makes on health insurance. And he says he doesn't have any big medical problems. Nobody can afford that. I mean, those are the kind of issues that I don't think people in Washington are hearing. And it's really tragic, and that's why people are angry. And, the one thing I've said to people that's different about this election cycle than 2008, people are angry.
Are you seeing any internal polls that hearten you in any way, or are you seeing increase in numbers in Iowa?
We're having great crowds in Iowa, very enthusiastic crowds. We have people signing up to come to the caucuses. I understand one thing about the caucuses, having won it with the largest number of votes that anyone has ever won it with. There's no substitute for hard work. And if this year proves to be the year that you can substitute grinding it out in all 99 counties and just working hard, and you can put a bunch of TV or radio ads and win it without having to come and talk to housewives and truck drivers and welders and unemployed factory workers, it'll be the end and the death of the Iowa caucus.
Governor, what do you make of the reports that Senator Cruz did not properly disclose some loans from Goldman Sachs and Citi. Do you think that's problematic? Do you think that's more
I'll
problematic?
have to let him answer. I don't have any loans from Goldman Sachs.
But do you
I don't know anybody.
Governor, can I ask Governor, one question for